remember, also too, if you're an MHA, don't think because you're an MHA, you cannot file a grievance. You can file a grievance. Now, you may not get as much money as a career employee, as a regular mail handler, or even as a PSC. You want to file a grievance, you can file one. You may not get as much money as a clerk. You can file a grievance. Hey everybody, this is Miss K and welcome to Miss K Gone Postal. I'm so glad to see you guys. I know I've been kind of missing for a minute. I miss you freaks. I miss all my postal freaks. So I just wanted to come today and we have a discussion because some of you guys have been in my comments asking questions and some of you have questions about filing grievances. And how to make money on filing grievances. I know some of you will be like, I don't file grievance. I don't do that. It's just wrong. Fuck that shit. Filing a grievance is a necessity if you work at the post office. Does not matter what craft you're in, you should file a grievance if there is something that's not being done properly or is going against your particular contract. Now, a grievance is not just for you to get money. Please understand that. A grievance is also to set a precedent. If there is not enough of a certain craft doing their particular job or their bid, this lets the post office know, your station know, your plant know that, hey, this particular craft, this particular position is short-staffed. And we're letting you guys know that this is not going unnoticed. So don't feel like, oh, I just don't want to file no grievance because I feel like a snitch. Who gives a fuck? Don't nobody know if you filed a grievance or not. That's between you and the shop steward that you give that particular grievance to. Or, I don't know about the money. No, man, look. 25 here, 50 there. Sometimes it's 200, sometimes it's 400. I've seen grievances at $1,000, baby. Real talk. It doesn't matter. It's the principle of the thing for you to file a grievance. So I'm going to tell you how to go about filing a grievance if you think there's something going on in your particular craft or if something is being violated in front of you or it's being consistently done and you need to address it. Let's say like this. I'm a mail handler, right? Okay. So I'm doing my work, and all the time I'm doing my work, they decide in my particular bid they want to move me first instead of moving either MHA or a casual or PTF or whatever before they move me, which they're not supposed to do, but they keep doing it. And me being a dumbass, I keep allowing them to move me, and I don't say anything. And then one day someone's like, hey, why do you keep getting moved? You know you're a senior to that person and they're MHA or they're casual. Why are you allowing them to move you? That is a grievance. If you are a career employee and they're moving you from your bid all the time to go cover some other section that can be covered by someone who is junior to you or someone who's a casual, someone who's an MHA or someone who's a PSC who's not a career clerk yet, you can file a grievance because they keep constantly moving you out of your bid to work someplace else when they should move someone who's junior to you. That's one example. A second example of filing a grievance would be if you are on the overtime desired list. And for some reason, you keep seeing people who are junior to you keep getting asked and keep coming in for overtime. And you're going, well, what the fuck? I'm singing to Shawanda, and I'm singing to John, and I'm singing to Becky ass. So why the fuck do they keep skipping me all the damn time? That is a grievance. If they're skipping you in the rotation for overtime, regardless if it's your NS day or if it's a before tour overtime or if it's after tour overtime, and you keep noticing this trend, and for some reason no one's coming to you saying anything, you need to file a grievance. Baby, that's shmoney. That's shmoney that you're missing out on doing overtime. And the fact that you signed up for overtime and they're not calling you. What the fucking purpose of you signing up for overtime for if they're not going to call your name? You understand what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? You get my drift? File that grievance. Now, in some particular cases, when you file your grievance for overtime, they will go ahead and if that is resolved, you can go ahead and talk to your shop steward and say, hey, listen, they keep bypassing me for overtime. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but this shit is getting out of hand. Now, without even filing a step one grievance, your shop steward should be able to go to whoever's in charge of the overtime design list for that tour that you're on. Might be an MDO, might be a supervisor, and in some cases it's 204B, who the fuck knows, and have a conversation with them, and they'll go ahead and pull the list and go, well, you know what, yeah, she did get skipped 2 times by Becky and Shawanda. We're gonna go ahead and give her makeup. So they'll give you makeup, might be 2 hours, might be 4 hours. Now I know some of y'all out there, fuck that makeup, bruh, I want some cash. You know that's not how it works first. You know they're gonna give you makeup before they give you any type of shmoney, because they'd rather slave you out and get that work than give you the money. Now, there are cases where if you've been bypassed so many times, your shop steward will be able to just get you paid because they bypass you so often. Doesn't even make sense for them to give you makeup. If they've already passed you like 6, 7 times, and that's like maybe 20 hours of makeup, your shop steward should be like, I don't want no damn makeup for my client. I want shmoney. Figure out the shmoney. Now, if that supervisor does not want to give you shmoney because they'd rather give you makeup, which is what they're going to offer you, your shop steward will then talk to you about it. Do you want the makeup? Do you want to fight it and go for the shmoney? Now, that's your choice. I'm not telling you which one to choose because that's up to you as an individual. I will say this. Sometimes the shmoney, if you want to take it to the dough, sometimes they don't want to give you the shmoney because they'll be like, oh, well, management offered you the work. So kind of figure out where you want to be in that situation if you are offered that, if you've been bypassed so many times. Now, here's another example of filing a grievance. Let's say you're working, and let's say you're doing your job, and you are there, and because you're short-staffed, right, your supervisor decides they want to come and drag shit, unload shit, jack up shit, rack shit, whatever the hell they're doing. And you noticing them doing this all the time. It's a trend, right? You're going, and at first you don't say nothing because in your mind you're thinking, this lazy motherfucker need to work any goddamn way. And then someone comes to tell you, an old timer, why are you allowing that supervisor to work? Why you have not filed grievance? Why haven't you? That's bargaining unit. They're not supposed to work. And you're going, bargaining unit. What does that mean? That means that as part of your contract, your supervisor, your immediate supervisor, your MDO, baby, hell, even the plant manager is not supposed to be doing any of your craft work. I don't care who you are. You could be a fucking custodian. Your supervisor should not be coming with a bucket and a mop to come mop the floor with you. Hell no. This is why you have a bid, and this is why you're working, and this is why their dumbass is a supervisor. If they are short-staffed, it is not their problem to come help you work. It is their problem to go find someone to assist you with your work. Not your problem. So if that is happening, and you've noticed over a week, you see them 20 minutes over here, 30 minutes over there, 25 minutes over there, 10 minutes over there, write it down. Document the time. 204B so-and-so was doing this at 3:45 p.m. and finished at 4:15 p.m. That stuff adds up. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to your shop steward and say, hey, I would like to file a grievance. Now, in your shop steward's office, in the union office, there are different forms that you can fill out. One form is for bargaining unit and one form is for cross-craft. Okay, we're going to get to that soon. Now, the bargaining unit is when you have a supervisor or someone in management who is doing your work or doing any type of craft work while you're sitting there visually watching this shit. You will fill out that form and ask for the day, the location where you went, the time, how long it was, and exactly what they're doing. Don't be afraid to fill this form out. This is about money, and this is about the fact that if we're short-staffed in a certain location, this is to let them know, hey, I'm doing this work, but this person is doing the work too, and they're in management. I don't appreciate that. I appreciate if you either create a bid or you hire more people so that they don't have to do that work and I could be assisted, okay? That's why you're going to file agreements for a bargaining unit. Now, cross-craft, and I know it's a touchy subject because there's a lot of cross-craft going on in a lot of places, stations, plants, wherever. So cross-craft grievances are if me as a mail handler, I'm working, right? And let's say hypothetically, I have a clerk that's working and we're working in the same area, but I'm supposed to be doing mail handler stuff. And that clerk is supposed to be doing clerk stuff. So let's say we as mail handlers are short staffed. And in the infinite wisdom of some dumbass MDO, they decide, hey, you guys aren't doing anything. Come over here and do some mail handler work. Now, I'm not saying that the clerk should be like, hell no, we ain't doing that shit. You can. You really can. But technically, they're going to frown at it and say, well, you're supposed to be working, whatever. So the clerks will come over and help the mail handlers. At that point, me as a mail handler, not even as a shop steward, as a mail handler, I'm going to sit there and look at how many clerks are over there in my particular area doing mail handler work. Hey, if you cool with them, ask them their name. Hey, baby, what's your name? Okay. Baby, what's your name? Oh, baby, what's your name? Okay. You write down their names. You write down the time that this work is being performed. So let's say it's 5:30 in the evening, and they came over there to help do whatever. Throw out packages. I don't know. But they're not supposed to be over there. So at that point, you sit there, write that start time down. And then when they no longer need them or they tell them to go away, then you write down the end time. So let's say they ended at 6:20. That's almost an hour of work that was performed by clerks doing mail handler jobs. And it's flipped. It can work the opposite way around. It could be clerks doing clerk work, and they decide they want to pull a mail handler, even an MHA to go do clerk work. They're not supposed to do that. This is why you have bids, and this is why you have contracts, and this is why you have unions. The bid is for a particular craft, and that craft needs to work that bid. So why would I, as a mail handler, go do clerk work? And why would a clerk come and do mail handler work? So that would be your cross craft. So you have your cross craft grievance that you can file, and you have your bargaining unit grievance that you can file. Now, these two tend to be filed a lot because a lot of this goes on, especially in plants. I'm not quite too sure about the stations because stations are convoluted. Y'all do shit y'all not even supposed to be doing. You got clerks loading trucks, and you got supervisors standing there with their hands in their fucking pockets, and you got drivers doing all types of shit. It's just a mess. At the plant, it's a little bit more structured, and it's a little bit more defined what you're supposed to be doing. So you can file those grievances. Now remember, if you go to your shop steward and you ask to file a grievance, regardless if it's a cross-craft grievance or a bargaining unit grievance, there's a form that you're going to fill out, a cross-craft form, a bargaining unit form. And mind you, you can write this form for every single day that you see things being done that are not supposed to be done. So a lot of times what a lot of people will do is they'll come and get a little stack like this of both cross-craft and bargaining unit, because I know in my location, baby, is rampant. So you want to write one down for every single day. Don't be afraid that your name is on it. The union does not go and run around and tell people, hey, you heard so-and-so filed a grievance on so-and-so, man, they're going to get fucked up. No, we don't do that. It's not even about that. Once you write that paper and you turn it in, you can slide it under the door, you can stick it in the shop steward's pocket, whatever. If they have a box on the outside of the union, stick it in the box. Once you do that, we file the grievance. Now, if it's a bunch of people filing a grievance at once, is let's say you and all your homeboys and girls in a section, and you see this blatant behavior, this blatant cross-craft, this blatant bargaining unit happening, all y'all gonna write a form. Every last one of y'all. Not one form and all y'all names. No, sir. All of y'all will write a form each. If it's 5 of y'all, that means if shit was going on every day for 3 days, then you do the math and figure out how many forms y'all supposed to have. Okay? If it's just one of you, if it's just one person who sees this, then you be that one person to file that grievance. Remember, a grievance does not make you a snitch. Okay? A grievance lets the union know that, hey, this type of behavior is going on. Remember, we can't be everywhere in the building. Some of us are, but some of us don't work. But you understand. We can't be everywhere. It is you, the other employees who are our eyes and ears, who tell us about the blatant shit that goes on in the building. If you do not file that grievance, how are we supposed to know? Don't come tell me, hey, Miss K, this stuff going on over here. Baby, did you write a grievance? And you go, no. What you telling me for? Because if I file a grievance, then guess what's going to happen? I'm either going to get paid myself, or I'm just going to file what we call a class action grievance. And class action grievance is when we put a grievance in this for everybody in that particular craft. And it's usually paid out based on seniority. So let's say there's just some blatant, rampant I don't know, this bargaining unit going on at the bundle sorter. And it's affecting everybody. Or it's blatant cross-craft going on at the bundle sorter. You got clerks doing mail handler work and stuff. So you have all the mail handlers at the bundle sorter who are filing a grievance saying, hey, the clerks are doing this work. This is not what they're supposed to be doing. This is not part of contract. At that point, as a shop steward, I'm going to file a class action. Class action meaning everyone in the mail handler craft is being, negated against because you have clerks who are doing mail handler work and they're filing agreements to get paid or to stop the action. Now, we all damn know the action will not stop because management is fine. They're fine with everyone doing more than what they're supposed to do with less people. This is why you need to file the damn grievance. If you're sitting here complaining about why we're doing all this fucking work and why we short staffed, is because you know why? You've been allowing this shit. You haven't filed grievance. You've been talking about it, but you're not filing grievance. If you don't file the grievance, we can't keep our foot on management's neck. You telling people about it does not stop the shit from happening, right? If a bear shit in the woods and you don't see it, does the bear shit in the woods? The bear's still gonna shit in the woods, baby. So you need to tell somebody. So remember, you have your cross craft. That's when one craft is doing another craft's work and they're not supposed to. And then you have bargaining unit is when management, either 204B, supervisor, MDO, plant manager, implant support, whoever in management is doing shit that they ain't supposed to be doing because that ain't their craft and they ain't on the floor working. You file these grievances. If you don't have access to a shop steward at that time or you can't make it to the union office to get these forms, write it down. I know some old timers who carry a little pocket pad and they go like this and they pull it out and they notorious. You don't want to use a pad? I know some people who actually keep it on their notepad in their phone. Day, time, place, who it was, what they had on, what they were drinking, what they were eating, what their breath smelled like, all that. And they're serious because a lot of them really want the money. That stuff starts adding up. And remember, also too, if you're an MHA, don't think because you're an MHA, you cannot file a grievance. You can file a grievance. Now, you may not get as much money as a career employee, as a regular mail handler, or even as a PSC. You want to file a grievance, you can file one. You may not get as much money as a clerk. You can file a grievance. Instead of getting maybe $50 for a grievance, they might give you $15, $20. It doesn't matter. Any little money that you get for your pocket will help you out tremendously, okay? Don't think just because you are not career that you cannot file a grievance on anything that's going on in that building. You can, okay? You can file the grievance. Also, to remember, if you keep letting this stuff slide by the wayside and you keep allowing it to happen, then you have no reason to fucking complain. None at all. Also, too, this shit puts money in your pocket. So remember, guys, I need you to file a grievance on what? Cross-craft. Cross-craft is what? When someone from a particular craft does work in another craft, i.e. a mail handler doing clerk work, clerk doing mail handler work. I need you to do what? File a grievance if you see them what? Number 2, bargaining unit. That's if a supervisor is working, management working, 204B working, plant manager working. You need to file a grievance. Listen, don't file a grievance if they working for 2 minutes and they drop the shit and walk off. No, don't do that. If they've been there, this is my rule, for about 20 minutes or more, file that grievance. Less than 20 minutes, they're going to come back and say, they weren't doing anything, they were just helping. No. And if you see it happening, don't say shit. Let it ride. Just go like this. You working? Okay. Can you move that box? Yeah, you go right here. Do that. Don't say anything to them about it. Let them work. Let them do the work. Okay? So those are 2 of your main grievances that you can file. Now remember, you will file your grievance with your shop steward. Your shop steward will then in turn file that grievance for you. If it can be reconciled without going to step 1, which is what we would do in a grievance, we do a step 1 grievance without filing any documentation, any paperwork, we can resolve it. A lot of times, especially when it comes to cross-craft and bargaining unit, it will go to step 2 because they're never going to pay out because they're going to complain. If you file a grievance for being bypassed on the overtime list, Now, that can be resolved without you going to step one grievance because in many cases, we can speak to management, get that issue resolved, either get you makeup or maybe we can get you the money. Either way, we can try to resolve it without that. So you have your three grievances, cross-craft, bargaining unit, bypass for overtime list, right? All right, then y'all got it. Good, good. I'm glad you motherfuckers got it. Yay! So remember, my postal freaks, as always, love and light. Peace.